Welcome back to the Dopest Show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer. This is Sasha. Spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but I've been off heroin since April 9, 2010. Got a lot of stories about the dumb stuff I did to get put in prison. Also got quite a few stories about the crazy stuff that happened when I was actually in prison. And God forbid you end up in prison, you want to make some of the same mistakes I made. Day to day, when you are locked up, you do not know which person has had something happen. Who's lost a mom or dad, broke up with the girl, whatever. You do not know what type of state each person's mind is in. And you got to be a little bit aware of that. Now, there was one fella in particular, cool dude. He was from Northern Virginia, but didn't know anybody down here in this part of Virginia, in the southwest part. And basically, he had either, I believe it was, he'd gotten papers saying that his wife wanted to divorce him. He wasn't that old of a guy. He's probably in his late 20s. But like this guy who's like just as friendly and as good and would do anything he could to help you, you just saw it change. Just like he was just down, depressed, just all at once. And it wasn't too long after that happened that there was something else that had happened. It actually happened to my roommate. This dude went by Snookie. He was unfortunate to have that nickname. He got that nickname from time he was a child. It was way before the Jersey Shore thing. So, that kind of sucked. Now, Snookie's a black dude. Lighter skin than me. This black dude braids, street as could be. Funny. Got along with it. But sometimes, he'd get worked up about stuff, all that. It's about the principle and all this stuff, or, prison politics, that type of stupid stuff. Now, they got to where all good, just gotta press this, where they were gambling, stuff like that every day. Found some dice in one of these board games or something. They was playing dice all day, playing cards, stuff like that. And ultimately, there was an issue that happened, as they often do, where you play for certain trays, and it's not, sir, if it's this tray, that tray, this week, that week, whatever, So, I'm friends with everybody in this involved. Now, there's another person who went by Brick. He called himself Sambo, too. His name was Sam, kind of like Rambo. Black dude, he had bricks tattooed all up and down his arm. At 5'7", 200 pounds, he'd been in prison the majority of his adult life. If you've been to Buckingham Prison in Virginia, you probably knew who this guy was, because he doesn't look that big. He's small boned, and like in that jumpsuit in the jail, you couldn't tell this dude was giant. Like this dude was jacked. They said he was bench pressing over 400, and he had a little workout group. I was part of that workout group. That helped me along get put together because I was scrawny as hell when I first got in there. But anyway, he grew up, he knew Snookie's mom. Now, Snookie's mom, sold dope. He grew up with her selling dope in the house. And, Sam is, I'm just going to call him Sam, this guy Bricks. But growing up, since he also was hustling, he watched Snookie grow up from the time he was a kid. And that's something, you see people in there, particularly from Franklin County. Now, Roanoke's a lot bigger of a place. Between Roanoke City, County, Salem, and Benton, it's about 300,000 people, but Franklin County's not as big. And, most everybody who was in from Franklin County, if they sold dope, they all knew each other just about. A lot of the ones that used dope all knew each other. Come to think of it, I think every one of them that sold dope in Franklin County knew each other. That's wild, because in Roanoke, not a chance. Not a chance, I think out of everybody that was in the pod with me, the only person I knew who was Spider, who I used to sell to. But anyway, they were close. Point being that. So, what ends up happening is there's some type of dispute about gambling or something. And Snookie, like a child, throws his tray on the ground. There are these instant mashed potatoes and this other stuff that splatter up, and they get on a few people. It was a childish thing. It was a stupid thing for him to throw that tray on the ground, for it to get up and do that. Now, the person in particular who took offense to it was the guy from Northern Virginia, the white dude, who just found out that his wife's leaving him. And any other day, he would have talked to him some type of different or some type of way. He was waiting for an excuse. People get in these crash test dummy type states of mind. Their give a damn gets busted. Their rubber band snaps. The point of no return comes where you can't go back. Yeah. And that is what happened here. Was he was going to go approach Snookie. Now, most people doing something like this, if I had done anything of the sort, if I had accidentally dropped a tray on the ground and it had gotten on somebody, even in just day-to-day life today, I would apologize immediately and, make sure they knew that I really am sorry because I didn't mean to do that, because, that's just common manners, first off. Never do something as childish as throw a tray on the ground and let it splatter over people, unless it was some type of a joke. If it was some type of ha-ha, he-he, and then even if I did, if it got on somebody, I would apologize immediately and quickly, because I would have been a douchebag if I didn't. So, an hour passes, and I wouldn't even say an hour, and Snookie, he calms down, everything else, and now I'm downstairs at the time, and Snookie was a couple cells over. Now, oftentimes people will talk to people. They'll be standing outside the cell. The person will be inside the cell. And Snookie's in about that type of situation. And, I'll break down the whole situation as I learned it afterwards. What I heard, and I'll tell you what I heard that alerted me to it. Basically, the white dude from Northern Virginia went up to him and he said, "Hey, man, you didn't mean to get that food on me." And Snookie just said, "What? Nah, man." And he keeps on talking to the guy, and the guy's like, "No, I'm serious." He's like, "Man, get out of here with that." Instead of saying, "I apologize," like he should have, he dismissed the fella. Dude took that as extreme disrespect. It was pretty dang disrespectful, if you want to be honest about it. So, Snookie's facing away from him, and he throws a big haymaker hook and pops him right in his lip. Busted his lip all, and I heard Snookie, "Oh, shit!" It's kind of like his voice got effeminate, high-pitched. And then, next thing you know, Snookie grabbing his mouth, trying to figure out what just happened, then acting like he wants to fight, but he isn't really jumping on it. Then the guy, Sam, comes upstairs because he knew Snookie since he grew up. And this part wasn't really right. I don't agree with this. I think people should fight one-on-one, but then again, the guy did sneak him. If we're being real about it, the guy did sneak. He snuck Snookie. Sam comes upstairs, and they keep telling him, "No, go in that cell." And the guy says, "No, I'm not going to go in that cell. Y'all are going to jump me." He says, "No, you're going to go in there and you're going to fight him." What would have happened? I don't know. Kind of hard to tell. Kind of hard to call it. But what did happen was on the top tier, which is a very dangerous place to get in a fight because somebody could fall over the top very easily. Sam takes off on the guy. Takes off on him, gets a whole bunch of punches in on him. And the guy basically just backpedals, steps in his own cell, and shuts his door. These doors shut automatically. Guards have to pop them. The guards pop them, and, it pops the door open. You shut them, click, they're locked. So he was in the cell. Well, then Snookie goes up the cell telling him he's going to whoop him when he gets out, this, and that. Keeps going back and forth. And basically, what ends up happening is, that was pretty much the end of it. The guy ends up telling the guard, "Listen, y'all got to get me out of here." They lock everybody down, which they would have anyway. It was after lunch. But they lock everybody down. They get him, and they get him to pack his stuff up. Of course, they're yelling at the door. They catch him in another pod, this, and that. Likely that was the end of it. Likely that's the last thing that came of it. And they took him out of there. Snookie's lip, he was my cellie at the time, as I said. You hear him yelling at the door at the guy. His lip was tore up something awful. I'm talking all the way down. It was gash. This guy got him good. But the big point of this was, you never do know what type of mood somebody's going to be in. And when you do something as broadly disrespectful as throw a tray onto the floor when there are tables beside of you with stuff in it that's going to splash up on other people, you got to expect something to happen if you don't apologize to those people. And even if you do apologize, there's some people that aren't going to hear it. I don't think it would have been heard anyway. But anyway, if you liked the video, press the like button. If not, that's 10 minutes and 12 seconds of your life, which you'll never get back. Got to make a trip today, so probably might be late for the next one's up. But, you know, I'm going to try to get another one up today. But I hope you liked the video.